Magician!
Hey YouTube, Dark Magician 84 here, doing an endurance wrap-up video. I will do a proper wrap-up video like at the end of the month for the celebrations of 20 years since I got into the game. So yeah, that's that for those endurances. Didn't think I'd be doing 5. I mean, I was only meant to do 4. Yeah, it's just a pity that with the past format and current format endurances, I didn't go through all the decks. But at least those gauntlet challenges made up for it. But still, it was cool doing 4 different ones. We had the character one, the speed duel one, the past format one and current format one. Yeah, it's a pity I didn't win those first 2. Yeah, Rockets and Melfi's really gave me a hard time. I seriously thought I was going to lose against George's Rockets. With my Yuya deck, because I have literally no out to Borrel End Dragon. But I was able to stall and survive, and then turn the tide of the duel around with a Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, Yuto's Ace Monster. It is also unfortunate that all my protagonist decks lost against Melfi's. Yeah, they were just too much for them, I guess. I wish I had an opportunity to play it against other character decks, so they'd be more evenly matched, but it's alright though. It was still fun to do while it lasted. And Emma got to win her very first endurance challenge game, and with her favourite deck, so that's awesome. I'm really happy for her. Speed Duel one, yeah, I guess I just had a lot of bad luck. Kind of annoyed that I only lost due to a couple of mistakes I made. Shame. Arcana Knights played quite well. Don't know about my Elemental Hero deck. My Speed Duel Dark Magician deck was working just fine. It actually ran well, it's just that I messed up a couple of times and it cost me the whole thing, so I could have and should have won the Speed Duel Endurance. Speaking of, I have made some changes to my Speed Duel Dark Magician deck with some new cards, so hopefully I can have some more Speed Duel games soon. Yeah, the past format one was really fun to do, getting to face a lot of other past format decks, especially near the end when I faced Matt and Alison Welch's September 07 decks. It was actually quite handy that I decided to properly interact and properly become friends with them. They of course have a load of September 07 decks, which really helps make up the numbers. Again, it's just really disappointing that I didn't get to use all of my past format decks. I mean, what did I win that whole thing with? I think it might have been my September 2012 Dark Magician deck. So luckily I came up with the idea of a gauntlet challenge, because at least with gauntlet challenges, it guarantees that all the decks can be used. Yeah, I'm really gutted that I fell right at the end with my September 07 Dark Magician deck, which was a throw-in, because I did want to use that again. It's my favourite past format deck, and I felt like I should use that against any of their September 07 decks. Now, the current format endurance, the biggest one of the lot. Yeah, that was great. I just feel bad though that my friends did struggle against a few of my decks. See, it's funny because it was supposed to be 35 decks, but I threw in a 36, which was my Earthbound Immortals, because I still plan to sell my Earthbound Immortal core to Rory. Problem is, he hasn't been down for a while. I would very much like to sort that out and make myself more money to put to the wedding. Yeah, the decks they struggled against the most were my Rockets, most definitely. What else did they struggle against? Gaia Knights, Blackwings. I think that was the biggest struggle for everyone. Same with Cyberse. Gadgets, a little bit. Topia for a little bit. And of course Neospatians. Yeah, Jaden pulled through and won the whole thing. So, yeah, again, it's a shame I didn't use the remaining 13 decks in the current format one. I mean, I am happy that I did win the whole thing. I mean, that's what I wanted, but that's not the way I wanted to win, really. Like, I wanted to go through every single one of my decks and then win the whole thing with Dark Magician. So I came up with the idea of yet another gauntlet challenge, using 14 of my decks against 14 of Gamer Central's. And yeah, I feel bad that they did seem to struggle a lot of the time. I was hoping for a more even challenge. Still, at least my signature 3 decks were able to pull through and win the whole thing. I did at least want to win duels with them. And then, of course, had that bonus endurance with Matt and Alison Welch, because Matt prepared 3 decks that he planned to use in that. Because he was going to have a go at the current format, Endurance, but then of course Gamer Central finished it, so I came up with the idea of the signature deck Endurance, so my signature 3 against his signature 3. And I felt like because it would be a very short Endurance, I wanted to use the other Endurance rules where nothing resets, and everything on the field, graveyard and banished zone, stays where they are. Looking back, I feel like that may have been a bad idea, because Rainbow Neo seems a bit too overpowered in that. But at least he was able to beat Rainbow Neos with Dark Magician and my Elemental Heroes. I'm just annoyed though that my Elemental Heroes bricked. So I drew no monsters and no search cards. What the hell? Like I said before, Elemental Heroes are not supposed to brick because it's one of the most consistent decks ever, and yet they did. Yeah. That's the only thing I was annoyed about, along with not being able to summon Shining Flare Wingman. Really gutted. But then, of course, Dark Magician pulled through, and it ended in a flashy way, a clash of both of our Dark Magicians. That was awesome, and Apprentice helped me pull through. So yeah, good stuff. Now, while these endurances were fun for what they are, and a great way to celebrate 20 years since I first started playing the game, this is where my endurance journey comes to an end. Yeah, I am now officially done with endurances for good. I don't really want to do any more. Don't really see much reason to. Like, especially since all the decks in the game that I hate seems to have caused more issues than I thought. Not just because they're just really annoying decks that do things that don't let me play, but yeah, there's more to it than that. That it's like, if they do get played in them, then just too many of them keep being brought against me, which just frustrate me and make me struggle, and I can't do shit against them. Either that, or I ban them, and then the players who play them just end up complaining and objecting, despite the fact that I did explain my reasons why those decks are banned. So it's like, what's the point anymore? You know, in more ways than one, my hated decks just kind of ruined endurance for me. Not just because of how bullshit and unfair they are, but because people just complain and object. And it does kind of put a downer on the whole thing. I mean, and just in general, just not just with endurances, like, if I don't want to play against decks that I hate and people complain about it, all I can say is sorry for not wanting to play against a deck that doesn't let me play. Yeah, I literally just want to actually play a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Some of us don't want to get gamed turn one before we've had a chance to do something, or have our decks locked down by negates, floodgates, and disruptions, so we can't do shit. Otherwise, it's not fair. And that is not how the game should be played. I don't care what you say, that is not how you play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! If anything, it just defeats the whole point of Yu-Gi-Oh! Remember, this is a game. The idea of a game is that you play it for the fun of it. It's not about trying desperately to win all the time and be the best and just use OTK, FTK, troll, stun and control strategies with negates, floodgates, disruptions and bullshit hand traps like Ash Blossom and Dimension Shifter. I mean, if you seriously think that's the only way to play, then you're sadly mistaken. I mean, meanwhile, I'm literally just trying to play the game the way it should be played. I mean, what is so wrong with having a fair, balanced and evenly matched game with no OTK, FTK, lockdown and troll strategies, no negates, no floodgates, no bullshit hand traps like Ash and D-Shifter that just don't let you play. Just a fair, balanced and evenly matched game where both players have a fair and equal chance of playing. What is so wrong with that? Nothing, that's what. And I just wanted to create an environment where fair, balanced and evenly matched games can happen. And decks that OTK, FTK, stall and burn, stall and deck out, or lock decks down in some way or another, just defeat the whole point of the game and just ruin it for other people and suck all the fun, life and joy out of it. I mean, why do you think I hate the decks that I hate? And why else would I have banned those decks from these endurances? I mean, I didn't ban them for no good reason, and I don't hate on decks or even cards that I hate for no good reason. Like every opinion I have about something in the game and every decision I make regarding the game has a reason behind it, a perfectly valid reason, and just because you don't agree or don't understand my hatred for the decks that I hate doesn't mean I'm wrong. That's all it was. Still, it doesn't matter anymore, considering I don't want to do any more endurances because of this. It makes me wonder, actually, what the odds are that someone will organise an endurance and then just ban Dark Magician and my hero decks just to spite me. Sounds ridiculous, I know, but even if that was the case, the joke's on them, because I don't want to do any more endurances anyway. Yeah, that's the only other complaint about these endurances, but other than that, they were fun for what they were. Yeah, that just about wraps that up. I mean, like I said, I'll do a proper wrap up for my 20th anniversary celebrations at the end of the month, as all that remains now is the rest of the Ultimate Championship, and another current format Gauntlet Challenge, where me and Matt and Alison Welch are going to use 5 decks against each other. Now, as I said in the last video, I'm going to use the Signature 3 plus my Stardust Junk deck, and it also occurred to me that my Cat deck should be the other deck I'm using, considering that's a deck that I want to keep forever, and make that my 4th signature deck, even though my Cats aren't as strong as Dark Magician, Elemental Heroes and Rainbow Neos, but it's still fun, and they're just really cute cards, and I just don't have the heart to take that deck apart. Anyway, yeah, that's that. I'm gonna sort out my Warrior deck now. I mean, now that that's being used, I can split it into 2 different Warrior decks, Goat format and September '07, so keep your eyes peeled for games and deck profiles on those. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Magician YouTube channel.